Yo, guys, I'm live on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and we're doing video game console tier list. And I say
He's lying.
because somebody's joining me today after a long time. Final live.
Yeah, I've been here the
Okay,
whole time. What
let
are you
me.
talking
All
about?
right, yeah. Okay, let me explain final live real quick because somebody asked. Right now, I'm live, and I just put final live because I will not be live streaming for a bit due to like family stuff. My sister is coming down to visit, and she has to work. And I'm not even joking when I said that she has to work at is 3 feet to my right since I live in a garage. But yeah, that's what I mean by Final Live. So that's why it's called Final Live. But anyways, so
That's
we're
also lying. He's actually just gonna get executed after
anyways,
this.
anyways, anyways, we're ranking video game consoles. Um, just if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on TikTok or whatever, go to my Instagram and YouTube, link in description of every video from like recently, and subscribe, all that, follow, blah blah. Anyway, let's do this. Anyways, um, the PSP is S tier.
The PSP is beautiful. It had Persona 3 Portable on it, so
It
it
had
instantly
Persona
gets
4
S tier.
Golden, which was actually peak gaming. So that's why SBS tier. Also, it was just ahead of its time.
Mm,
It was ahead of its time. It's
really
literally
was.
it was a portable console that could play AAA games, and also you could plug it into your TV and play with a PS3 controller. Is that not cinema? Not cinema? I think it's
That
S
is
tier.
kind of peak.
That's peak. The original Xbox, low key, the original Xbox was pretty mid, I'm not gonna lie. The original one with the goofy controller with the giant X in the middle.
Well, people just really like it, so
I don't know.
it's always gonna be
I'd
up
personally put
there.
it B tier. I think it would probably be higher, but you have to remember what other console was the console this generation, which is I think, but
Which,
because I'll just rate that next. I
oh yeah,
think the Xbox it's good, but it's not anything amazing. But the also came out that same generation is the PS2, which is like the goat of consoles.
the PS2 is
The
beautiful.
PS2 is S tier. Like the PS2 revolutionized gaming. That is like I believe the second most sold console of all time next to Switch, and I even think the Switch became oh, hello. The Switch became more bought for a time, and then people bought a bunch of PS2s, and the PS2 became the most bought console of all time again. Do you know how crazy it is? The PS2 is
Yeah,
goated.
well, people love the PS2,
It's
and it's
goated.
goaded,
It is
so
goated.
people
It
should like
also
the
had some of the
PS2.
best games. How much time we be live? I'll be live for. I'm not gonna. I'll be live for like out for a few hours, probably till like four. Not four. I'll put like three.
No,
Anyways, but
about 10 minutes until
no.
he dies.
I have somebody joining me today. Um, PS2. It just has some great games. It had let's see, Resident Evil 4. It had of course it had it had Ratchet and Clank games. It had Punisher. It had such good games. Silent Hill.
Oh, Ratchet and Clank is goaded.
Exactly. I'll be back in an hour. Said, all right. I'll see you here in an hour. But okay, I've been playing like Ratchet and Clank 3. My first time playing it is so good. Anyways, the I think this, I don't know what consoles. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, PS3. PS3. Okay, we have to rate
That was
PS3 and
also goaded.
Xbox 360. That was a time to be alive, man. Gaming peaked in that time, like in terms of everything. As for mind you, we had Mountain Dew. We had Mountain Dew with Master Chief on it. Does that not peak? Does that not peak?
That is peak.
I will say though, I will say that the games also at this generation, like I'll say this, I think in overall PlayStation has had the better games overall recently. I think Xbox does
Oh
have
yeah,
like a
for
few
for
good.
a while.
Xbox does
Xbox
have like a
is
few bangers every once in a while, especially now that they have like a bunch of different studios, like they have Doom and stuff now. But right now, I think PlayStation definitely
yeah.
has a bit more market
They
control.
had Hi-Fi Rush and they stopped
Yeah,
Hi-Fi Rush from ever
I
existing
do
again.
think PlayStation had a bit more market control, but back then it was legitimately like a fight. Like people were dying over which console was better. So I think they're both S tier. Oh, the Atari. The Atari, I think saw
The Atari.
the Atari. I think it's like a B tier console. It was the first. It was anything crazy,
Yeah, I mean
but
it was the first, but I think
it was good
believe it or not,
first.
I don't find myself playing Pong on it all the time, which is sad because
But
everyone loves Pong.
ET's on it.
E.T. I love
I'm not
E.T.
even joking when I said I've played ET on the Atari before. My uncle owns two copies of it.
He's gonna be executed. He can't have that.
He has 2 copies of ET for the Atari. But anyways, the Switch, I say Switch is like A tier. What do you think? I think
Yeah, the Switch
objectively
is
it is
really
S
good.
tier.
Aside for
I,
the
I,
battery life.
yeah, the battery life is the biggest problem, and also I think it's just the screen. It's not like it just scratches really easily. Even with a screen protector breaks in like a second. That's my only problem with it, the scratches and stuff. Also, there was that one time my Switch absolutely you touched it and it like died like completely.
It did
Everything
just explode for no reason.
it just destroyed itself when you touched it. But then it got repaired. But anyways, they probably sent me a new one. But anyways, I think it's A tier. I think again the PSP was just out of it, but you could plug on to TV, play it. You could go on a mobile. I'll say Switch is cool. Also has some really good games. The games on the Switch though keep it afloat so much. Also, 30 FPS is unforgivable, even for the time. Oh, the GameCube. The GameCube's S tier.
Yeah,
It had Luigi's Mansion
big
on it.
games. I do agree.
It had Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's, is that the big one? Is
That's,
Luigi's Mansion the
I
most
mean,
important one?
it also had Resident Evil 4. It had let's see, it had Mario Sunshine. It had Pokemon Colosseum in
Oh yeah,
XD.
Sunshine was beautiful.
They had fire
I
games on
haven't
this.
heard anyone talk about Colosseum in like years.
I'm an avid Colosseum lover, an avid XD lover, so that's you'll hear me talk about it. Anyways, that's an S tier
All
console right
right.
there. It also had Melee. Oh, holy peak, the Sega Game Gear. Holy, it's like a C tier. It was cool you could play Sega games on the go, but that means you also had to play a Sega game on the go in the not so good console. Have you ever played?
Beautiful console. What do you mean?
Do you know about you? I think most people. I've talked to most people now about Sonic Blast on the Game Gear. It is probably the worst looking
Oh,
game I've ever witnessed in my life.
no, no, no. Sonic Blast looks beautiful.
Sonic Blast on Game Gear is like incomprehensible how horrendous it looks. Look at those. Actually, you can't see, but the chat. Look at those
Look at
premium
those beautiful,
graphics.
beautiful.
Oh,
I
it
know.
runs in a whole 2 FPS.
That's too much FPS. We should squash
Sonic
that.
Blast on the Yaffe Gamer. Welcome to thing or chat. But yeah, no, Yoff. What say? Hello. Yeah, thanks for the likes on the live stream. But Sonic Blast on the Game Gear was the peak game. No, Game Gear was just you could play Sega games. That's why I'd C tier or that. Anyway, 64. I think we have to put this in S tier.
Yeah, everyone loves the Nintendo 64
It
for
had
obvious reasons of it being the GOAT.
yeah. Also it revolutionized gaming too. It had Mario 64. It had Conquer. It also had your favorite game, Gex.
I do love Gex. Everyone loves Gex though.
Yeah. Also had Star Wars Pod Racers, and that game was peak. How do you get live with 70 followers? What do you mean? How do I get live with 70? Oh, they removed the limit for followers now. Somebody asked me that before. They just removed the limit. You can get
Yeah.
live with like anything now.
Yeah, now anyone can go live stream. You can go live stream
YouTube,
and just stream whenever the hell you
yeah,
want.
YouTube also did that, so it's nice. The only thing I
I
can't
think it's
do,
really funny because now live is just full of like it used to be full of like
actual
strange like
content.
half strange stuff, and now like 90% of it is just the weirdest things you could ever see in your life,
Yeah,
and I think that's
I
beautiful.
am joined by somebody today. Um, he's the voice.
I'm the voices in his head.
Yeah. Hello DTI girl. Anyways, the original Nintendo, I give it like a B tier. It's some fun games. It was anything crazy
Yeah,
though.
it, it was the start.
What's that double sound? Is there a double? Oh, the
There
double
is. Everyone hates you.
that double sound maybe because my mic is horrendous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna turn this down. I can't even turn. Okay, I think it should be better now. But anyways, Nintendo is amazing. The original one. It just had some fire games on it, and that's it. I don't know what that is. Oh my, the Sega Genesis. Oh my, oh my, oh my Genesis.
Is the Sega Genesis that beautiful?
Sega Genesis is peak. The Sega Genesis is beauty. It had
I've
Sonic.
never seen a Sega Genesis
It had
in person.
Sonic the Hedgehog on it, man. One, two,
Oh
and
boy.
three. And if you got the extension, you had CD. C tier for the Genesis? I don't know. I think I have to put it S, not S tier. I think A tier for me. I just love Genesis. Actually, then again, other than Sonic, what were the other P games on it? The Echo the Dolphin.
Isn't
Actually,
that the one with like a really weird controller that was shaped like a bean?
no, that was I think that was a set. No, that wasn't Saturn. That was it was either Saturn or Jaguar.
Uh,
Anyways, I guess other than I can't really name other games as Sonic now that I think about it. I'm playing B tier just for Sonic. But then again, Echo the Dolphin was peak.
what is Echo of the Dolphin?
The Echo the Dolphin is a really bad game. Or so you just play as a
I
dolphin. It had a really horrifying thing. But anyways, do you know what's next?
I don't play as a dolphin. This movie peak.
The Oija.
Um, no.
The Oija.
Oh, what is
It's the one that they
no?
remember Moist Critical bought it, and he said it was he said the only thing it was useful for is a C tier for the Oija. I think you're just rating anything C tier now. The Oija is like unplayable.
No, the Oja's peak. I know what you're talking. It's like the little cube,
Yeah,
right?
Moist Critical called it a paperweight.
That
That's,
is a good paperweight.
it is a good paperweight. I think
Shaped perfectly as a paperweight.
it's holy scam. I remember they were promising like all these amazing stuff from it, only for it to come out with like ROM hacks of like GBA games and fake ones at that. The PS1, I'll give like a solid B tier too. What do you think? Do you disagree with that?
No, everyone was the PS1.
I do think it's funny that originally it just had like the mid control. It didn't have the sticks. It just had the D-pad. Because you know PS1, a fun fact, originally the PS1 was supposed to be a collab between Sony and Sega to make or not Sega, Sony and Nintendo to make a special Super Nintendo. But then they ended up making the Super Nintendo and then PS1 separate consoles. So
Mm.
that's a fun fact. That's why originally PS1 came with no sticks, joysticks. It was just that. Anyways, Dreamcast. Dreamcast I think is A tier.
Dreamcast is awesome.
Dreamcast had
Yeah,
really good
I
games
I
on it.
agree.
Like legit like
B or A.
the other Sega games, it's like I just think of like Sonic, but Dreamcast had yeah, first of all, it's Sonic Adventure 2, of course, but it had the JoJo games. It had so many cool games on it. Like they actually like got games on here, which is crazy for Sega. Sega needs to make another console though. They low-key have the platform now. Just make Persona and well, I guess Sega's not that scummy anyways
Oh,
to make
Persona.
exclusives.
Make a Persona and a Yakuza game and people will buy it.
To be fair, Sega is actually a good company now, and they actually let people do whatever they want with their games, and they actually support people that make fan games. They actually even hire fan game makers to make actual games. Hello, hello. They even
I
hire
think they should
people.
just execute them like Nintendo.
Hell yeah, thank you. Nintendo can't even mod your stuff anymore. Yeah, solid A tier. I don't even know. This is like an Atari or something. I can't write. This is the Sega.
That's the doohickey.
This is
I
either
genuinely don't know what that is.
this is either I think this is the Jaguar. I believe so, at least.
Is it?
Either way, if it's either the Jaguar or Saturn, I don't know what they look like just off of looks. Either way, they're D tier because they're not Ouija level, Ouija console level.
Oh
These
yeah,
aren't.
the Ouija's peak.
Okay. I think next we got the Game Boy. Low key, the Game Boy has some classics, but but the Game Boy also needed to be in like or you got a slight glare and it's like you can't see anything.
Unless it was completely flat under good lighting, you were not seeing on
Yeah.
the Game Boy.
But I guess there's no color or pocket. Pocket like you actually change the brightness, which is cool. And then and then color
The color
had
had
color.
the attachment with your reading light on it, so you could actually see the game.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give it like B tier because the color and pocket. I'm like probably one of two people that actually owns a pocket though. And okay, next is the Xbox One. Low key, Xbox One was such a fumble.
Yeah, I mean it sold really well. People love the Xbox One, but I don't think it
It
had anything
just
special on it.
it I'll say that PS4 and Xbox One were anything crazy. I think they both realistically I mean I guess their games were looking good, The thing, problem with Xbox One, my biggest problem is the way they marketed it. They marketed it as an entertainment console, not as a gaming console. Like when you played Xbox 360, it was a gaming console. They literally advertised this by having Aaron Paul, say Xbox play, turn on the TV and you could play, you could watch football while playing Titanfall. 1.2K likes.
That's
Yes,
peak.
thank you for
Maybe
the
maybe I was
1.2K
harsh on this.
likes.
Maybe I should split screen it and then I could just have like Subway Surfers gameplay and TikTok
TikTok and
and
Family Guy.
Titanfall at the same time, and then it
Yeah,
would be better.
hello Victor. I think realistically,
I think we're missing out on the.
I think realistically, both PS2 or Xbox Series X or Xbox One and PS4 are B tier. I think that's what I have to put realistically.
I'm
They're.
fine with that.
I think I'm fine with that. The
I
Virtual
think the
Boy.
PS4 had much more goated games though.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy.
Oh, that's going in S tier. That's so peak.
I will say, I think if it didn't cost $3 billion to, it cost like $2,000, which is insane for when it came out. It was like the 90s. So inflation, so the money was worth way more. So that was insane prices. That's like $4,000 today, more actually. So if they sold it for
Yeah,
like 200 or something, this would have done numbers. Cause I've seen the games of the gameplay. They look so cool. The games look so cool on it. They had a Jack Frost game on it. Jack Frost and what's the pumpkin one from Persona or from Shin Megami Tensei? You know what I'm talking about, the fire pumpkin? They had a Jack Bros
is
game
it
on it
just
though.
Jack O' Lantern?
Yeah, but they had a Jack Bros
Jack
game on
Frost.
it.
Okay.
And so I have to give it actually I think game wise it's like an A tier games because I've seen the games look really cool. But overall, I think D tier just because it's so expensive and nobody can play it.
Yeah, it was $1 billion and no one was gonna spend all that. And it looked really weird and was giving people headaches, but
PC, I think
games were good.
PC. I'm not rated. This is not a console. And anybody who's going like,
Yeah, just put
well,
it. That's not a console.
you can play games on your PC, so it is a console. You can mod. I don't care. It's not a console. You don't plug it in and you don't play. That's not that a console is you plug it in, you put a game in, either downloads over the older console, it just goes up immediately, and you start playing. A PC is you plug it in, you set up Windows or whatever you're using, you set up all your settings for your computer. You can use it to Google search, you can use it for other things. The primary purpose of PC is not to game. The primary purpose of a console is to game. That is why a PC is not going to be rated.
Well, yeah, but think of it this way, right? You can go on your PC and you can just
Look,
download Firefox, and
2000.
then
Oh,
you
thank
can
you for
go onto
2000 likes.
Firefox, and that's like the main use of it. You use a browser, but then think of it this way: almost every console, right? You can there's just a way where you could break it and then get a browser on it. So
Mm.
maybe they're all just PCs in disguise.
I just realized there are three consoles on here: the PS5, the Series X, and the Series S too. But I'm not gonna count like the Slims and stuff.
There's also not the Soldier Boy console.
Soldier Boy console that's here. But anyways, I would say the PS5, the Series X, and then the hello, I'm nothing. But PS5, Series X, and Steam Deck, which I will count the Steam Deck as a console, because its primary purpose is to play games, unlike a PC. It just can do other stuff, but its prime purpose is just to play games. The PC or not the PS5 and Series X, I both put like A tier, S tier. I think their S tier is just that it's not anything crazy where I'd put it S tier, but be so realistic they're both like A tier. But they're both like amazing consoles. And then the Steam Deck I'll put like a B tier. Is just if I'm at home. Okay, my problem with Steam Deck, right? When I'm out, I want to play. When I'm out like on a drive or something, like I'm in a car road trip and I'm sitting in the back because my parents are driving, because I'm not because we're driving to just like see fam or something. When I'm out like just doing whatever and I'm not on to play a game, I'm not gonna play a Steam Deck. I'm gonna play like a Game Boy game or like a 3DS game, something that you wouldn't just sit down at your house and normally play. The Steam Deck is for that, but I'm not gonna sit there at home or sit there out and play the Steam Deck for games I can play at home on my PC. That's my thing with the Steam Deck. But it's still relatively a good console itself, so I'll put like B tier. I think your favorite's
Oh
coming up,
boy,
the
my
Wii U.
favorite. No, this is my favorite. I own a Wii U. I'm
The
probably
Wii,
one of
okay,
10 people in the world that still owns a Wii U.
I'll put like C tier. I think the Wii U, it was just wasted potential.
Okay, the Wii U. Okay, let me tell you. The Wii U had goated games.
No, it
The Wii
definitely
U was
did.
an awesome setup. The Wii U was beautiful, except the Wii U,
Gamepad,
it was just they just gave up on it after about like half the games that they were gonna make for it fell through. It had no
so
third
Dom the
party
boss.
support, and you couldn't bring the pad like more than 10 feet away from the console.
Yeah, my biggest problem is the gamepad. No, I will say the Wii U has unironically amazing games. Like Nintendo Land is amazing. Nintendo Land, that game is like actually peak. There was a Persona Fire Emblem crossover called like FE some Tokyo Mirage. That game is like unironically like amazing. Like that game is like 10 out of 10. There's some really good Wii U games. It's just that they're on the Wii U, the least bought console. And there's a reason. I'll say this. There's a reason like they ported games from Wii U onto Switch, like Xenoblade and stuff.
Yeah, because no one they were really good, but no one played them because they were on the Wii
Wii
U.
U. Yeah, no, that's the problem. Anyways, the Super Nintendo is a classic S tier. I just love 16-bit games, so I love playing the Wii U, or just not Wii U, the Super Nintendo.
I do love the Wii U.
No, Super Nintendo's goated. Plus, it has a Link Between Worlds, which is cool. Or no, not Link to the Past. Link Between Worlds is 3DS one. Anyway, the 3DS is next, anyways. Where'd you put the 3DS?
Goated.
Goated, I think.
I think the 3DS is S tier. It's
I'm
like
not gonna lie.
the portable console.
Nintendo low key cooks with their portable consoles. They cook hard. Yeah,
They do.
3DS is
That's why they just
crazy.
keep making portable consoles. They're like
Yeah,
semi-portable consoles.
but 3DS is first of all the games were peaks. They were so good. There were so many like really highly rated games. You had Street Fighter 4.
And
You had the Pokemon
yeah, and so many
games.
things were ported to the DS as well.
Yeah, you could also play DS games on 3DS. But even then, DS had some of the 3DS had some of the highest rated games of all time. I mean, I know you don't like Fire Emblem, but I do. But that game sits at a 98% Fire Emblem Awakenings. Like they had some crazy games on here. But then again, 7 out of 10, too much water.
That is true. There was too much water. They should turn on the water.
No, but legitimately, it was really good. Hello, Locks Mikey. I was just showing that on YouTube that my YouTube chat is open. It's just on the side because of how it works. And I don't know how to pin it up. But no. Legitimately, the 3DS had amazing games. Anyway, the Game Boy Advance is next. I think okay, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, DS. I think all go next year.
I agree.
I think that's fair. Actually, I'll move the SNES down, and this no 64 should stay. But no, legitimately, all three of these consoles. Not only did they have Pete games. Oh, hey Ian, I'm live on TikTok and YouTube. But anyways, not only did they have Pete games, but they just look really good. The style of these games were amazing, and they adapted to each console too, which was the best part. It's like let's say you're playing game. Okay, I'm gonna use Fire Emblem series. I know you don't like Fire Emblem, but it's a really good example of how they adapted each one. Fire Emblem and Game Boy Advance, you had these simple 16-bit sprites, right? So like that's by the characters on the map. You go to DS, they kind of keep the same style, but it definitely looks better. I'll say the actual combat itself looks a bit harsh and like visually. And then 3DS they go like these 32-bit style sprites because they know they're not gonna go 3D like all 3D because the sprites are gonna look bad. They only did that on the Wii GameCube. Like legitimately, they improve every single time. They get better, and I think that's the beauty of all these consoles. They have peak games, peak graphics, peak everything, and they're on the go and portable. And then it made incredible battery life. And also, you could throw these things. You could throw a meter at these things and they wouldn't be harmed.
That is true. The 3DS not so much, but
Yeah, the 3DS was probably a bit more.
the DS is made of vibranium.
Ian joined on TikTok. Hey Ian, welcome to TikTok. Anyways, the Vita I think is A tier. I just don't think it's really good. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not PSP. Not the PSP.
Not the PSP. I don't know. I never touched the Vita.
The Vita's cool. It's chill. But anyways, the final console we gotta rate is the Wii. And I think I need to make a
The
tier list.
Wii
This is the
Wii.
GOAT of all consoles.
Yeah,
This
they
is
had
the
Wii Sports, and that's all it needed.
I don't think I've ever met a person who hasn't played the Wii. I'll be honest.
Probably someone, but I don't think they're real. They're fake.
Because the Wii
Everyone loves the
is
Wii.
iconic for so many reasons. First of all, it introduced motion controls, but in a good way. It's not like post Wii motion controls got really intrusive and stuff. but they had good. First of all, the games they had too. Wii Sports, of course. They had Zelda Skyward Sword is a good game. They had also Twilight Princess, phenomenal game. They had Lego Star Wars 3. They had so many good games. But then again, they also had Transformers Cybertron Adventures, which was a really bad port of the War for Cybertron game. But anyways, they just had so many good games.
No.
Even, like 720p wasn't even terrible for the Wii either, because it was released. They could get away with it too, because it released pre PS pre PS3 and and Xbox 360. So it was in the same generation, but it was before them. So graphics weren't even that terrible. There's just so much about the Wii. I think it's S tier, undeniably.
Yeah,
Not
no,
even S tier, the
the Wii,
greatest.
the Wii is beautiful.
I think that's the console tier list. I'm pretty happy with this.
Where'd you put the Soldier Boy console?
It's not on here. I'd put it on like the greatest console of all time, the next to the Wii.
I agree.
But yeah, I think that's the end of the YouTube video, not the live stream though. If you join the if you're on the YouTube video, remember to like, subscribe to this bell, and go to my Instagram, TikTok below, and bye YouTube.